Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Motovloggers Unplugged. Hope you're all doing well. This week we have Iain, better known as One Man, One Bike. Let's go and meet him. Iain, great to have you here. How are you doing, mate?
Hello there. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the programme.
No, thanks for coming on. It's really much appreciated. So we just get tore into it.
Yeah, let's crack on.
Let's go for it. Question one. How long have you been riding motorbikes?
Oh gosh, 15. I wanted to get on two wheels and I was working, stacking shelves at the co-op and I saved some money and I bought a little moped, little Italian moped off a neighbour who was selling it for something like a fiver.
Right.
And pedals, it was red and rusty. And as soon as I got the taste of going on two wheels, I saved up like crazy and I bought a second-hand Yamaha FS1E.
Right.
Uh, I cracked on with that for a while until I could afford a 250 Honda, and it just went from there really. Not 2000, 1975. That was it, 1975.
1975.
Yeah, 1975. I was 15, coming up to 16, just leaving school, and I was working part time as a waiter at Manchester Airport.
Brilliant. What,
Um,
well, you've told us now what was your first bike. We know that one, so we'll skip that.
a little FS1E went everywhere, flat out, going with a trail of blue smoke behind you.
Brilliant. What has been your favourite bike of all your bikes?
They've all been my favourites, getting a bike, it's like growing up, 404 on the 550 on the Gullwing. I had a Gullwing at the while for a while. I loved that. I put a 402 exhaust on it, bits of chrome, and I used to love it. I had an RS90 BMW. I love that. I love my V-Strom at the moment. I think it's absolutely superb. I absolutely love it because I just love the V-twin. I love the vibes I get. I love the handling. Every bike around is my favourite bike.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of miles in the V-Strom as well, haven't you?
Oh gosh, yeah, two times round Europe and
Yeah,
down West Africa. Yeah, I've done a few miles on this.
yep. How did you come up with your channel's name? It's kind of obvious, I suppose. This one, isn't it?
One man, one bike. When going back about 3 years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, when I decided I just come out of a, I just come left the marital home and become a single man again.
Yep.
I was sat there to right. I'm going to make a decision. And what happened was I had a friend. She was only 54 and she died.
Right.
And I thought, wow. And I thought that could happen to me any day now. And I thought, well, I'm not going to hang around for that. So I thought, what do I want to do in my life? And I thought, right, I'm going to carry on working. I can get a badge, or I can get a camper van, or I can travel. And I thought, right, I'm going to travel.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I did, because I'd had a little period without a bike, and as soon as I become a single man again, first thing I did was I went and bought another motorbike. And and I thought, yeah, I want to travel, and I've always loved traveling. I joined the Royal Navy to travel, and that's all. And I used to love traveling to new places,
Yeah.
and that's all I wanted to do, really. So I thought, right, I'm going to commit now. I'm going to say, right, I'm going to travel. So I got the V-Strom, which was a bike that could travel. And then before I did my first trip around Europe, I thought maybe I should get a website I can put pictures on. I thought, well, I can do Instagram, I can do face melt or face ache or whatever it is. And I thought, well, no, if I've got a website, it might be easier to post stories onto the website than just link it from there to Facebook or wherever.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, website. So I built myself a website, and because I've done part of my a previous life was building websites, and I thought, right, what shall I call it? And I thought, I kept rotating round for about a week, and I thought, one man, one bike, 'cause that's what I'm going to be, really. So that's what it
Yeah.
came from.
Interesting. Yep. How would you describe your channel?
Right. when I was going to do my first trip, I thought, what I did when I got the bike, I thought, right, I went around Scotland, did that for a couple of weeks, and I thought, I want to go a bit further, so I went around the whole of UK and Wales, sort of followed the periphery and went all around there. And I got back and I thought, yeah, I need to do a little bit more. And I thought, right, Europe. So I went around Europe, went to Germany, up into Sweden because my son lives in Stockholm,
Right.
a little bit of Norway, come back into Germany, down to Czech Republic, Poland, and then I came back. And so that was the journeys that I was going to do.
Yep.
Before I set off, I'd done my Scotland trip and I'd done my around the UK trip, and I thought, if I'm going to go abroad, really, I need to document the travels.
Yeah.
And at that point, there was no way I was going to do it for other people. It was down to me, so I've got something visible I can watch later,
Yeah.
and remember the journey. So I thought, right, I better film it then. So I better get a GoPro or something like that. And that's what I did. And I had the website by that time. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I should share it as well and put them on YouTube. And that was all part and parcel with the one man, one bike and the website. And it all more or less come at the same time, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I did my first trip, that's what I did. I just recorded the travels. But the primary reason for doing that was so I could record my journeys, do little edits at different steps of the journey, and then I could record it. And it was for me so I could remember, because I'm not getting any younger. At some stage, I'm going to start losing my marbles.
Where have I been?
And I think, where have I been? And that was it. In fact, I never put all the videos on YouTube first. When I came back, I edited the videos as I went along. But when I got back, I thought I finished them off a little bit. Then that's when I put them all onto YouTube.
Yeah.
But initially, the intent wasn't for YouTube; it was for me.
Yeah. Okay. How did it feel to speak to the camera for the first time?
Oh gosh. Um, when I did my first trip around Europe on video, my mate said, when I told my mate, I says, I'm going to start recording it as I go along. He said, oh, yeah, speak as well. And I says, no, no way.
No
There's,
chance.
there's no chance I'm doing that. And I went round and I did it and I didn't speak once. And then when I got back on reflection, I thought, I spent one evening, I was watching videos. I thought, the thing that's missing is narration, really. So I thought,
Yeah.
when I do this again, I'm going to have to talk to camera. And so when I decided to go and do my West Africa trip, right from the very start, I started talking.
Yeah.
At first, I started talking in the helmet, but I hated that because um, as I'm going along, I like to concentrate. And having to concentrate and talk at the same time, I found that quite awkward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I worked on the scenario then of try and do an intro, maybe something in the middle, and also do a finishing bit to end off.
Yep.
Because you've got to have a start and you've got to have a finish, which is a
Yeah.
natural thing anyway. But the first time I did it, gosh, I think I got on the ferry at Portsmouth to go down to Spain. I think I'd done something like 5 or 6 takes, going over it and going over it. And then and after a while, you find a natural cadence, don't you?
Yeah.
And it starts becoming natural. I mean, I still make fluffs now. I'm not. Sometimes my brain works quicker than my mouth, and so I'll be doing a take, and then I'll fuck it, I'll mess it up. So I've got to go back to the start again, or I'll get to the end of it, and I think,
Yeah.
oh, why didn't I mention that? I should have mentioned that. I should have mentioned this.
Yeah.
So I'll go and record it again, and I'll add some extra bits in. But that's the way it is. But you learn as you're going along, and
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
feeling a lot more comfortable now. But I can't do this bit that some of the influencers do, which is walking around with the camera in the shop and, look at me, I'm buying a packet of sausages, or and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I just do this natural. I just talk at the start, maybe do a little bit in the middle or something, and do a bit at the end, and that puts it to bed, really.
Yeah. Yeah. How has your content evolved since you began motovlogging?
Well, another thing really was like my West Africa thing was. my mum's still alive. She's 96 now, and I've got a sister, and I've got my children. I've got 4 kids as well. So I thought the other thing of doing the videos on YouTube, especially the West Africa bit, is giving them a way of seeing where I am, what I'm doing, and how I am. They can follow my journey. And that's really what the primary. That was the primary. When I got into it for Series 2, West Africa, that was it, to keep my family involved and a few of my friends.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. And then one day I was in South Morocco. I think I was about maybe a month and a half into the trip. And I was on a campsite and they had Wi-Fi. And so I just uploaded a video. And I saw this thing that says analytics. Oh, what does this button do? Analytics. I looked at it and it said like 2,300 subscribers. I thought, fucking hell, I couldn't believe it. And I thought, what? Because at that point, I was really getting fed up with the video. And I thought, I'm going to bin this, forget about it. I mean, I could catch a video and I can edit it when I get back and I can show my mum and my sister and everything like that.
Yeah.
But when I saw that I had all those subscribers, I thought, well, I can't back out now. So I just carried on doing it. But I was absolutely gobsmacked when I saw I had all those subscribers.
I think that's when I came across your videos when you were doing the Moroccan trip, I think it was. Yeah.
I was absolutely amazed. So it's sort of grown its own legs and started running, really. I had no control of it. I had no will to do it. It just sort of grown its own legs, which is great. You know, it's evolved.
Yeah. What do you want your audience to take away from your content?
Really? A lot of it as well. I'm 66, and what I would like is for guys, older guys and younger, especially older guys, to see that it's actually not difficult. That touring, you can actually get your. It doesn't matter what bike you've got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can use any bike for touring. You don't have to go crossing deserts and going through jungles. Yeah. It's like Morocco. You think, oh, deserts and sand. It's not. Most of it's paved. There's roads everywhere. You could take a Hayabusa to Morocco and still have an amazing time.
Yeah.
But if they can see that I can do it, and I'm not the bravest soul, if they can see that I can do it, hopefully it'll encourage more people to get off the backside, to get the bike packed, and head off into the sunset, you know. And because I've got a group of mates with bikes, and I go out in the summer. We'll go to the Harley Davidson place on a summer evening, where they have the meetups or other places, and I see all these pristine bikes. I think, God, you know, that Tenere needs to go across a desert or a muddy field somewhere. It doesn't need to go to the pub on a Friday evening in summer. And I think, well, if I can show people that it isn't that difficult, you know, you too can get your bike packed and get on the road and go and see things. It's not that difficult. That's all I'd like to achieve, really. I don't want to sell products. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to make loads of money off it. You know, you speak to most people who do this, most vloggers, they don't make hardly any money at all.
No, you have to be massive to do it. Mm.
Oh, massive. And I'm not into that. I ain't got the time, the inclination, or the interest in doing that. But if the videos that I make can encourage other people to get on the bikes, get the garage queen out, pack it up, and go somewhere nice, then great, do it, because there's a big wide world out there to investigate and to discover.
Yeah, right, good. What brand of cameras and microphones are you currently using?
At the moment, my main camera is the
GoPro.
The GoPro. Looking a bit raggedy at the moment. That's my GoPro.
Is that
that's the 11. That's the 11.
11.
And then I've got an 8, which is my reserve camera. Now, I sometimes use a drift as well. I love this drift camera.
All right.
And the reason why I love it is it goes on the side of your helmet. Now, with the Suzuki having that, sometimes the screen would obscure what's there.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at cleaning screens, and my screen's all scratched to hell. So all you're going to see is a scratched screen.
Yeah.
Where with this, it sort of pokes around the side of the screen.
Right.
And what I do to all my cameras is I get some Sugru. I put a little blob of Sugru on there, and I've got it on this one as well. You can see it there, and especially on the drift, I've got a little blob there.
Yep.
And the thing is, when you've got gloves on, it's hard to find the buttons on a camera. But with the blob of Sugru, it's easy to find and turn it on. But I love this because it sits on the side of my helmet, and you can get a view just around the
Yeah.
side. You
Yeah.
see a bit of the helmet, but you can just see it on the side of the windscreen.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
On you go. Sorry.
What? No, you were going to say you use.
Sorry. On you go. Sorry.
Yeah, you say it. Go on. Go on.
I usually use the wee stick-on rubber things that you put on your kitchen cupboards. I stick them on the buttons.
What a great idea! Never not thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good as well. Yeah, and they don't fall off for some reason. So
It's,
they're really good. Same thing.
After coming out of a marriage and being self-employed, money is not a big asset I have, so I have to sort of count my pennies really. I would have liked to have gone out to get this and lots. I mean, I would love to try the DJI cameras by then, but at the moment, I'm of this mentality where if the machine works, don't fix it, and it
Well,
does
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
and that's it. You know.
If you're not having problems with them, well, why bother changing it? You know.
And the thing is, it's like you can say, oh yeah, you can get better quality in the clouds on the DJI, and it's got a better tonal range. But most people are using their phone to watch it, or sometimes when you're watching it on a TV or a computer, it's 1080 anyway, so it doesn't matter the quality of the camera anyway. You know, as long as it's pretty reasonable, then you can get away with it. Maybe next year I might get the DJIs, give them a go, but for the moment, the GoPros and the drift, they work for me. I can do all day on a battery on this. I've got two of these batteries.
Right.
I can do one battery in this all day as well. So if the machine works, don't fix it.
Well, that's true. Yep, definitely.
Oh, microphone. I've gone through a succession of microphones. I've done the obvious thing. Then I bought the cheap ones off eBay,
Yeah.
and you get what you pay for, really. So for me, Africa trip, what was I using for Africa? I can't remember what I was using now for the Africa trip. I mean, again, I don't talk much when I'm in the helmet.
Yeah.
I find it just complicates things. But I have started talking in the helmet, and for that, I started using a DJI microphone.
Okay.
And it's all right. It works for me, but I still try to avoid talking when I'm in the helmet. A, it sounds muffled, and B, it just takes my concentration away from what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I'm riding, I'm 100% concentration.
Yeah.
You
Makes sense.
know,
Yep.
because you're in charge of a guided missile there. You can do a little bit of looking around, but you've got to watch out when you go to some other countries. You're on the other side of the road, and B, you don't know. You've got to have your head on a swivel. So when you're naturally away inside the helmet, I just think it takes your concentration away. But
I've done that myself.
and for talking to the camera when I'm not on the bike. Last year, I was just using a cheap and cheerful USB thing that plugs into the phone, and
Yep.
it's got the remote thing. But the quality was a bit crap. But by the time I was in West Africa, there was nothing I could do about that.
Yeah.
So recently, I've just bought something by Boya, and it seems to be working okay. So I'll give
Good.
it a go. I was going to get the DJI microphones, but I thought because I'm a tight ass, I thought I'll I'll give this a go. If it turns out to be a pile of pants, then I'll go for the DJI. But at the moment, it's working okay. So I love these new microphones now because you can just clip it into your phone. You can clip one or two microphones, and then you pop
Yep.
it back in, and it charges up, and it's brilliant. So there we go.
Excellent. Do you film in full auto or do you use manual settings on your camera?
full auto. It depends on the weather, really. 9 times out of 10, I just leave it on full auto. But if it's a really dull, overcast, I don't know. Sometimes I might underexpose a little bit. I don't know, but what I tend to do, again, I'm a great believer in it, is if the machine works, leave it, don't fix it. And most of the time, I'm too worried about where I'm going next, my route, where my route's going to be, where I'm going to get some food for the day. So, messing around with camera settings it's not on my radar. It's low on my priority list. So I just leave it on auto.
Yeah, me too. I just leave it in auto all the time. Let the camera decide.
To be honest, I mean, the quality of DJI, most cameras now, is really very good. And when you get into post production, you can always pull it one way or the other a little bit, can't you? You can do a little bit of cheating in post. So, but auto's fine for me.
I believe it's better to have it underexposed slightly rather than overexposed.
It is, because if you're underexposed, you can. If you're overexposed,
a wee bit.
You can't pull back what's there. So if you're underexposed, maybe about a stop. Sometimes I would say leave it like that, because you can always pull it back a bit when you're in post.
Yeah.
So it depends on the circumstance. If it's really sunny, I would say leave it as it is, leave it auto. But if it's overcast and dull, I'd say go a stop under, so you can pull it back a bit, because then it's looking a little bit more into the shadows more than anything else.
What resolution and frame rates do you use?
1080 at 60. The thing is, when I've been away, I don't edit when I come back. I edit when I'm on the road. So when I did my first trip, when I started going down. When I did my first trip, I was sort of edit every few days, and then towards the end, I got bored of that. I thought, so I saved my footage up and waited till I come home. But when I went to Africa, I was editing on the go. So I started off each evening. I would get in the tent. Once I've had something to eat, I would download the footage onto the laptop, and then I'd do an edit, and then save it, and then wait until I got Wi-Fi before I could upload it. By the time I got to the Sahara, I was getting a little bit fed up of that, because I'd be tired, or sometimes I'd get to a place and I'd get there, say, mid-afternoon, and I'd want to go for a ride round to investigate, and I think, I've got to edit this video now, and it became a crutch, really. It became a millstone around my neck. So what I started doing was, every evening I'd get my camp set up, I'd eat, get myself sorted out, download the footage onto the laptop, put my laptop away, as well to save electricity, because I carried a leisure battery. But and then once I'd done a big jump and got to a place I was going to stay for a few days, that's when I'd get down to editing. But it still becomes, I'd sort of do it begrudgingly sometimes, because maybe I'd get to Nouadhibou or Nouakchott, I'm going to spend 4 days there. Well, for the first day, I'm editing video, and I tend to resent it a little bit. But there's no way that I can save all my video until I come back to the UK and then edit it, because if I did that and I'd got like a week of editing to do ahead of me, I'd just end up deleting it all and say, I can't be bothered with this. So I've got to do this, because if I don't do that, then I'll never do it. So it's like a love-hate relationship, really. I know that I've got to do it. I don't want to do it sometimes, but I've got to do it. So that's usually when I get somewhere for 3 or 4 days. My first day is editing. It normally takes me about 2 hours to edit a video.
Right. Okay.
That's what I give myself. So I just chuck all the clippings in there, put my intro in there, put my outro there. Because what I've already done, and also every day what I do, I've done my last bit of video as well, my sign off.
Yeah.
And when I download each day onto the laptop, I make a new folder for that day, which is the day and where I am, and everything from that day goes into that folder. Stills, pictures, my video, and my intros and outros. So when it comes to edit it, I go straight to that folder, upload the folder straight into the bin, and I've got everything there. So I've got my video, my intros, my outros, and also stills. And at first it sort of took me, I would be doing like 3-4 hours to do a video, but now I can do one in 2 hours, no problem at all. Because when I'm going along, I don't keep the running all the time. I'm not running because I ain't got the card space for it. I ain't got the hard drive space for it.
Yeah.
So I'm coming up and think this looks interesting. So I start filming, and then when it's gone, I turn it off. And then when I'm coming to a town or a village or a city, I'll turn the camera on, film that bit, turn it off when I'm doing something else. So there's lots of clips right there. So my clips can vary between sort of 10 seconds and maybe a minute. If I've got into a city, I think, well, I've done enough of that now, turn it off. Who wants to see the back of an exhaust pipe? But if I see something interesting, that's when it goes on. So all my footage is comprised really of clips. So I just grab all the clips in and I go through the clips, crap, keep that one, crap. And it's as simple as that. Then I just trim them down, put them together, add me dissolves and fades, whatever I need to do, and then bang some music on top and away we go.
Yeah, you're a lot more organised than me anyway. Mine's is more hectic than that.
The thing is, though, if I'm going to do this and you're going to do it on the road, you've got to learn to be quick and capable, and you've got to make it easy for yourself, because if you make it difficult for yourself, it just becomes a chore and you think, I'm not going to do this anymore, it's too hard. So I'm always looking to see where I can make things easier for myself. I'm going along and I'm thinking, well, that's a good bit, bang, or I'm going along, I filmed it, I thought, that's a lot of shite, so I'll try and remember it so I can delete it when I need it. Sometimes when I get in the tent in the evening, I'll have a quick look through at my rushes, and I think, oh, that's that crap bit, delete it. And sometimes I even do a quick pre-edit before I close my laptop down.
Yeah. What software do you use for editing and why?
Oh, Filmora. I looked long and hard at video things to use, and I've worked with media for 42 years now, and I know Final Cut, and I know Premiere a little bit, although I hate Premiere, but I know Final Cut. But I thought, I'm not going to buy Final Cut. Final Cut for what I do, for what I need it to do. It's like having a 6-wheel racing bike just to go in to Tesco's next, 200 yards down the road. It's complete overkill. All I need is to put my clips in there, put all my rushes in there, do a little bit of titles, do a little bit of sound, do a little bit of manipulation, bung it all together, render it down, and then I can upload it. It goes there, waits till I've got Wi-Fi, and then I can upload them all. So I needed something that was simple and easy. So I looked around. I looked at a few of them, and I thought, well, Filmora looks quite easy enough, and that's what I chose. And it's not expensive either. So even doing all this, I probably still use about 20% of its potential. There's lots of stuff in there I don't even touch.
Yeah. Aye, Filmora it's got a better price than the likes of the DaVinci that I'm using. That was a fortune.
I looked at DaVinci, and if I was doing really serious productions and wanted to do lots of things, green screen, taking things out as you're going along. DaVinci is perfect. And I looked at DaVinci and I thought, I could do this, but I thought, why? It's just. I'm a sort of person. I hate things that are over complex. And to me, DaVinci is just overcomplicated for what I need. I like to. We used to have a thing in the Navy. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, keep it simple. And that's what I like to do. Just keep things simple.
Yeah, fair enough.
I must admit, I was getting a bit fed up with it because it has this annoying habit that it likes to ping to home base every so often over Wi-Fi, and if it's not pinged home for a couple of weeks, it just blocks you. It just says you can't use this. So
Right.
it's like the first time I came to that, I was in the middle of Morocco, and I thought, oh, I'm in the mood to edit some video, and but I had no Wi-Fi, so I had to wait a couple of days till I found some Wi-Fi so that it's ping. And then I could start using it again. I was most fed up about that, and I was going to bin it. And when at this time, actually, before my next trip, I was thinking of going to bin it, but I've looked around and I can't be bothered, and it means buying something else. So I'm going to stick with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I get a bit fed up of the wizards as well, because it's aimed at people who know nothing about it.
Yep.
Uh, what Filmora wants is to do everything for you, and all I want to do is edit some bits together, add some dissolves and fades, and that's it. And it keeps coming up with all these wizards and AI this and AI that. Well, that's the way it is now with software, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's the way it is. Yep.
But it's cheap and cheerful, so I'm happy with that.
Hold on, I've lost my place now. What's the hardest part of managing a motovlogging channel?
Oh gosh, it's finding the enthusiasm to do some editing. That's the first part. Yeah, I think that's one part of it, finding the enthusiasm. Because I have days where I think, oh God, like sat in where was I? Senegal.
Yep.
And I was camped over this next to the sea, and it was beautiful. And all I wanted, it was like 38 degrees, and all I wanted to do was go and ride my bike and see things. And I had to spend the day editing my video. And I thought, oh God, and that was hard. But so you just got to maintain your enthusiasm to do it. And another part sometimes is first when I got Wi-Fi, I would read the comments, go through, and I would try to reply. And so I thought, well, I'll do an edit then I'd spend like one evening. If I had Wi-Fi, I spend an evening writing, replying to things what people say, and then you'd see things that people had said that were unkind. I thought, oh God's sake, I'm here. But how the hell do you know that I've got too much luggage on my bike, or who are you to say that I've got the wrong tires on my bike? And get lost. And then I sort of I worked out that sometimes I spend evenings doing that, and I'm thinking, well, hang on, I'm supposed to be here enjoying myself. I've just spent a whole day editing video, and I'm also spending evenings doing comments.
Yep.
So I got to a certain point on my West Africa trip that I don't even look at the comments now, sad to say, because when you're traveling, you just don't have the time. I know it sounds rude. It probably sounds, I don't know, definitely rude, because if someone's taken the time to make a comment, then you need to reply back. But when you are traveling, you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And you don't have the bandwidth either.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working off GPS, or you've just bought 20 gigabytes, and you're hoping for it to last you all the way through Mauritania, and you don't want to spend time answering comments. So what I try to do is when I get back to the UK, that's when I'll spend some time answering comments.
Yeah, makes sense. How do you balance riding for pleasure versus riding for content? Is there times when you go out without the cameras just for a wee whiz about?
Gosh, yeah. The only time that I use the cameras is when I'm doing my trips. Other than that, I don't touch them, because to me, my channel is about me going on a journey to far off places, and hopefully encouraging other people to travel as well. When I get up on a Saturday or a Sunday, or I've got a day in the week where it's particularly good weather and I fancy like riding up to Oban for some fish and chips, I'll go for the joy of it. I'll go for the ride. I don't go to make a vlog or anything like that.
Right.
In fact, when I get back off my trip, I put all my video gear in a drawer and I forget about it.
And just
I,
forget
I,
about it.
don't, I don't touch it again until I'm going on a trip.
Yeah, good.
In fact, I got these cameras out because I knew you were going to ask that question. I got these cameras out of the case, and they've not been in there since. They've been in there since November. I've not used them at all.
Hey, pull them back.
I will. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite video or series of videos that you've made?
I don't know. It's like every video is my favourite video. It's like every bike I've ridden is my favourite bike. It's like you live for the moment, really. I mean, I really did like it when I was in Dakar, ducking and diving through the traffic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed putting that together. There was a lot of footage. Sometimes when you're editing video, you've got this tightrope, this balancing act, because when you're shooting video for yourself, you shoot lots and lots of video. But when it comes to edit it, you've got to think about the end content, the end product.
Yeah.
And it becomes you become emotionally attached to every little bit of video you've taken and every picture you've taken, and you feel emotionally attached, and you put it in there, and you don't want to cut things out. And when I was going through Mauritania and again through Senegal, there was lots and lots of clips that I wanted to include. But who wants to see a traffic jam yet another traffic jam?
Yeah,
So you've got to be very decisive, and you've got to be very clinical about what you keep and what you edit out. And going through Dakar, I loved it. I mean, I love all that. I love all the dicing through the traffic. Oh, I absolutely love it. And playing chicken with a taxi driver. I just love the thrill of that. And there's things you want to keep, but you've got to decide that, well, if I keep all that, my video is going to be an hour.
Yeah.
So I try to work on the premise of keeping a video down to about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's not really.
Okay.
You can be selfish and put bits in, and I must admit, my last trip when I went around Europe, I was in Napoli, and I lived in Napoli for two and a half years.
Right.
And I was a bit selfish and self-indulgent, and I did a little bit. And I went to northern Naples, where I used to live, and I did a little bit of video there.
Okay.
So now and again, you've got to be a bit self-indulgent. But when I'm editing, when anyone edits, you've got to be clinical about what you keep and what you edit out, what you lose. And that is the hardest part of any video. What do you keep out?
Yeah, what you cut out, yep. Where do you see your channel going in the next couple of years?
Well, I've got this year. I'm away again in April, or definitely by May anyway. I'm away again. I'm going to do about 4 to 6 months this year. I was going to head up to Estonia, pop into Russia, pop out into Finland. I was going to go to St. Petersburg, Finland, go to Stockholm to see my son, then head through Germany to Frankfurt to see my daughter. But I can't get a visa for going to St. Petersburg, overland travel in that part of Russia at the moment. I think it's easier on the eastern part of Russia, but for the western part of Russia, I think it's a bit difficult. So I might just go straight over to Germany, go and see my daughter in Frankfurt. Then the plan at the moment is to head down to Turkey and either go to Iraq or to Algeria.
Right. Okay.
That seems to be the plan at the moment. Mm-hmm. And then next year, the plan is to get rid of my flat, and I'm going to have a crack around the world, which is either following soggy balls. That was plan A, and then get to Vladivostok, over to Malaysia, Borneo, things like that. Then over to Argentina, down to Chile, up America. Or I may go the other way. I may start with the easy bit first and do America, all the way down to Chile, Argentina, and then go the other way around. I don't know. If I do that next year, I might meet soggy balls on the way around. I don't know.
Yeah, you might do. He got his visa for Russia quite easy, but that is the east side he's at there. Is it Vladivostok, is it, or whatever you call it?
That's right, yeah. He is. He went down to the embassy.
Into Russia and back out. He's not in it for long.
That's right. I think from their perspective, no problem just passing through Georgia, up to Mongolia, and then out again to Vladivostok. There's nothing but grass and trees, whereas on the western part of Russia, it's a little bit different at the moment. So I spent a career of working to a timetable and planning things a year in advance, 2 years in advance, always working to a timetable. And now I don't have that anymore. I tend to leave things last minute, which is what I love doing. And I've got a rough idea, and that's how I do when I'm on the road. That's what I do on the road. I have a rough idea where I'm going there, and I just make it up as I go along. So when I get to maybe middle of March, I'll have a definite idea which way I'm going to go. But at the moment, it looks like I'm going to probably, as much as I'd like to pop into Sweden to see my son. The other thing is, well, with Sweden, back end of April and early May, it's a bit cold still to go camping. So I might just head down through Germany and head towards Turkey and go chase the sunshine. That seems the easiest route at the moment.
Yeah. I spoke to, or I texted Stevie, was it last night or the night before, and he was in northern Italy at that point, so he's progressing along.
I've got absolutely the utmost respect for that guy. Fantastic. You know, if it would have been a year later, if I would have been ready, had the bike, I would have said, mate, do you want someone to come along with it? As I would have gone along with him, but it's just a year too early for me. Next year, definitely. But for my trips this year, I'll definitely be blogging as I go along, and definitely next year as I go along. But this time round, rather than doing sort of daily videos, I think what I probably might do is ease it down a little bit. Instead of doing maybe a video for each step of the way, rather than say it's going to take me 3 days, having longer stints within one video. So rather than doing from Brussels to Frankfurt, then Frankfurt to Vienna, I might just do one for the whole of Germany, then one for the whole of Austria and things like that. Because I find that with having too many videos, it puts too much pressure on me to find the time to do this. And ultimately, I'm not doing it purposely for YouTube. I'm doing this for me. Anything. I still need to have fun. And if I'm spending too much of my time editing videos, I'm going along, but I'm not having fun. I'm not a happy actor. And I get miserable. And so, but we'll see as we go along. But I'm definitely going to keep on going.
Good. Look forward to watching that.
And if people want to watch, they can watch. If they don't, they don't, and that's fine. But going back to the same old premise, if a bald old fart like me at 66 can go and do this, I'm sure other guys can do it as well. I mean, I know guys have jobs, they've got families, they've got commitments, but there comes a stage in everyone's life where maybe you don't have work anymore, you don't have the family anymore, you don't have the commitments that you used to have, and then maybe it will encourage people to say, oh yeah, well, if you can do it, I can do that, and hopefully they'll get out there and get on the road.
Yeah. Any advice for someone just starting out motovlogging?
The thing is, I think the easiest thing for a lot of people to do, the first thing when they say I want to do this, is to go and throw a load of money at it. And it's like when I went on my first trip, I tried using 2 cameras, and very quickly I realised that when you're doing post with 2 cameras, it just complicates things. It makes things a whole lot more difficult. So if I could say anything, it's when you start vlogging, just have 1 camera, keep it simple. Forget about talking into the helmet. I think it's bad enough having to talk into a helmet anyway. But if you're a little bit nervous about doing it or trying to find your feet, I would say just record the footage, and then with a pretty good quality microphone or something like one of the Bluetooth ones like this.
Yep.
Just sit there at your home and record something to your phone, and then you can place that onto the start of or the finish of your video.
Narrate over it, yeah.
Just keep it really, really simple. And also, I think the other thing is a lot of people start doing it. I think you've got to have a purpose. Initially, my purpose was just to record my travels so I could remember my travels. And then I started creating the videos for my family to see where they were.
Yep.
And then when I found out that I actually had an audience, I'm just creating my videos now to encourage other people. So if you're going to start doing it, have a purpose. Start off simple. Don't throw too much money at it.
Yep.
Use the cheapest software you can find till you get used to editing. But have a purpose. I think that's all I could advise anyone, really. If you're going to go out straight away and buy a £500 camera or a 360 camera, do not go and buy a 360 camera. No, because it just takes more effort to edit. And I think you have to. I think you have to have a little bit of modicum of editing skills before you even think about 360.
Definitely.
And also talking into the helmet. I see so many videos with people talking into the helmet, and the sound quality is not very good. They're very muffled. I can hardly make out what some people say. So I would say avoid that. If you've got something to say it properly on a decent quality microphone.
Yeah.
When you're in front of the camera rather than when you're sat inside your helmet. And besides, you've got to keep your eyes on the road.
The audio is probably.
But the biggest thing I'd say is keep it simple.
Yeah, and try and get as clear audio as possible, because if you watch a video and you can't make out what somebody's saying, they just switch it off anyway. So it's important to get the audio right as well.
Or sometimes I start watching a video on YouTube, and if I can't hear what they're saying on
exactly.
I just bang out, which is a shame because some people may have things to say. It's like watching the Missenden Flyer. I can hear everything he says. I can hear what you say, and I can hear some guys when they're real again. I can hear every word, but with some guys it's just mush,
It's just
and that's probably because they've got a noisy helmet and they probably bought a £5 lavalier microphone from eBay.
Yeah. Iain, you have now answered all questions.
Oh gosh, is that
it? You've survived.
Oh, good. I mean, I can chat to. I was worried there at some points because I was thinking, am I saying too much? Because I'm a.
No, that's fine.
I don't say a great deal. I'm quite happy in my own head, which is probably why I'm happy travelling on my own anyway. But when I do start talking, sometimes you can't stop me. So I was worried about saying too much.
48 minutes we're at, so that's all right. That's okay.
Oh, geez, that's good. Yeah, there we go. Good.
Again, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you doing that, and it's been great having you on here. And
honestly,
on your next trip.
It's been a pleasure, and the tax year finishes end of next month. New tax year starts 6th of April. I'll do my self-assessment on the 7th. Tell the taxman I'm finished, and that's me. I'm free to go then. So, and that's it. And then the new bike arrives in about 2 weeks' time, and then I'm going to spend about a week getting it sorted out, and then I've got to get it run in. So hopefully by the end of March, I'll have a bike that's fully fitted out, ready to go, and also run in. That's going to kill me running the bike in. I've never had a new bike before, and
was it 600 miles? Is it?
Yeah. Because but there you go. Such is life.
Got to be done. Anyway, thank you very much, Iain. It's greatly appreciated, and all the best, mate.
Thank you to my subscriber.